DualShock released in late '97 in Japan was pretty much a replacement to the original digital controller. Now, today we're going to do a little comparison action from the original DualShock to the 6-axis to the now everybody's coveted DualShock 3. Now, a lot of people wondered what exactly was a DualShock? Well, it was the original upgrade to the original pack-in PlayStation controller, which was the digital controller, which didn't have the nubs, and it had hollow handles. So it was just pretty much this. If you could copy that, like right there, and it was just this thing with 2 handles. That was it. I don't know if you guys remember that, but that was pretty standard. And they were like, well, we gotta add these little crazy analog sticks. So they put it together, and the next thing you know, you have analog sticks with 3D controller. After that, they wound up releasing the DualShock 2, which is pretty much an upgrade to the PlayStation 2 controllers. Similar in design. I think it was slightly lighter. Actually, let's weigh it. Actually, we got this handy dandy little scale right here. I'm gonna weigh these controllers. See what is the real differences between all these controllers. Well, let's see here. Let's reset the scale, and boom. I'm just curious here. 9.3 ounces. Not that I would suggest you drink the DualShock original controller, but 9.3 ounces for the original DualShock. A firm controller. There's no other controller made like the DualShock controllers. Many have often imitated but never duplicated. You know, Xbox trying to make their version of a DualShock controller, just wide, bulky, disgusting. Then Nintendo 64 tried to make a DualShock controller. They had a rumble pack instead. So obviously Sony came up with a great idea for the product. But what wound up happening after DualShock 1, DualShock 2, guess what? DualShock 3 didn't exist because they made the 6-axis. And people were like, well, why did they take out all the shaking features out of the game? Well, real simple. They were sued for $90 million. Yes, read the lips, $90 million. Not to sound like somebody who's, in a lottery commercial, but for the most part, I can't even count that high. And $90 million is a lot of money, but Sony paid the lawsuit, and they decided to strip because they didn't want to pay Immersion any more money. Because $90 million, hey, that should be enough. But they didn't want to pay them any more money, so they came out with this thing. This happens to be the original pack-in 6-axis controller for the PlayStation 3. Now, this thing weighs a whopping 4.7 ounces. Very light. I mean, it's light as a feather. I mean, it's just tossed around. It has no substance to it whatsoever. I mean, aside from being cool because it's Bluetooth and it has a 6-axis controller on it, you can assign, 1, 2, 3, or 4 players to it. There really is nothing to this. It doesn't have the DualShock feature. It doesn't rumble. It just doesn't feel right in your hands. I mean, it has the same shape, the same contour shape, but it does not have the feeling and the cool accentuation to the games like Tekken. Like if you do a 3-hit combo or something, and then the next thing you know, you hit the floor, you can vibrate your way to the, on the floor, back up. It just gives an extra realism to the game that obviously wasn't there before. But now today we have DualShock 3s. Now, this is just released in Japan. There is no American release date for this product whatsoever. But, of course, because we have a man in Japan, actually we have a few men in Japan, and they get us our DualShock 3 so you guys can play with this DualShock 3s. Now, DualShock 3 is awesome because it actually has some of the weight, it has the motors back in the handles. I guess they actually decided to start paying royalty fees to Immersion, and we're glad for it because I don't mind paying an extra $5 or $6 for a controller that I really want to play with. So, here we go. It's pretty simple. Oh, it comes in 2 colors. Just to show you guys, it comes in the crazy ceramic white, like the limited edition PS3 system, and it comes in their old school flavor black, like we all want, because black is back. I don't know if it ever left, but it's here anyway. And so we'll unbox the original black PlayStation 3 DualShock 3, import only, guys. And yes, it is fully compatible with American games, fully compatible. And we'll show you a list in a little bit. Then you're going to look to the left side again. So once again, if you guys ask, once you're done watching the unboxing, you'll see to look to the left and you'll find a link for the list, the compatibility list. So it's very Japanesey. And, you really don't need to know Japanese in order to use a DualShock 3 controller. I really don't think you need to read anything because you just pretty much, there's no seals on it once again. You just undo the card. There's a little piece of tape here, I guess, to make things not so flying around. Oh, there it is. It's a card, product card, as you can see. There's an inner eggshell, plastic molding shell, and of course it's the two-part box that we all know and love from Sony. And there you have it, the DualShock 3. It says on the controller 6-axis, because it is the new branding for the new PlayStation 3 controllers. It does say 6-axis, but it also says DualShock 3. So DualShock 3 6-axis controller. There it is, guys. Looks identical. But instead of having 4.3 ounces, let's go back to our little scale. And tonight, there we go. 6.6 ounces. So we got almost 3 whole more ounces of vibrating goodness in your hand. And believe me, there's lots of vibrating goodness in this bad boy. Get your mind out of your gutter, you dirty devil. So, as you can see, it's the same matte black controller. Looks identical. It has the same assign button when you press the button to assign your controllers for 1, 2, 3, or 4. It comes somewhat pre-charged. See if you press the button, you see the 4 things blinking. There's no PS3 in front of me or behind me, so it's not assigning a controller. Has the same power charge, USB charger. So you have to charge a controller the same way. So overall, it definitely feels a little more, has more substance in my hands. And I've actually used this already with some of the games, and it's very responsive. It just feels the way playing DualShock 3 games should be, especially first-person shooters. You don't want to miss out. You could feel every hit. You could feel when things are walking behind you. It's programmed for the game, so it's a totally cool product. Check it out. ViewGameCentral.com. DualShock 6-axis DualShock 3 controller. They're shipping now, black and white. Guess what? Want some more information? Compatibility list? Look again to the left. Check it out. DualShock 3. Peace.